Hello, 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 hello. Well, I like the idea of having the recurring joke of will they have microphone issues today? It's interesting, and I hope that we won't today because we have a guest, and a pretty important guest. So I hope that everything will run smooth and fine. Hello everyone, tea time. I've got my tea with me here. There's tea. It's Baiocchi today. Baiocchi with a little bit of chocolate on top. It's, I think they just came out. I didn't see them, before in the shops. So we just tried to experiment with something new. What is happening today? Well, first of all, let me thank you and everyone who is not connected but actually bought something during the Steam publisher sale. You know, guys, that we had this huge event Thursday to Monday, and it was the biggest thing we've ever ran in the history of the company. So thank you everyone for participating, for browsing the pages, for buying games, for watching the videos, for everything. Just to put this into perspective, the Steam product pages of the Slitherine products received a total of over 10 million page views over the weekend. We've sold around just above 250,000 units in 250,000 pieces of software, I would say. This includes DLCs and all that kind of stuff, but it's a pretty staggering number. We are absolutely ecstatic about it, and so thank you very much for participating and for making that happen. The biggest, we have a little bit of a ranking here of the best-selling products. So of course, by far the best-selling product was Warhammer 40,000 Gladius. We've done exceptionally well with that game over the last 12-18 months. It started well, but over the last 12-18 months, it's just picked up so well. It's incredible. Believe it or not, the number 2 bestseller. I think we should run bets on the chat. The number 2 bestseller was Distant Worlds Universe. Of course, there was a deep discount, but it's incredible that after all this time, this game is still capturing people's imagination so much. After that, we have, Command did very, very well. Battlestar Galactica Deadlock, Fantasy General 2, we just released a DLC called Evolution for that, did very, very well. Panzer Corps 2 did very well. So overall, I'd say that we're really very happy about how it went, and so thank you very, very much. I've been told that there is a lot of stuff happening. Just a recap of the news. So we've launched a beta for Master of Magic, Caster of Magic for Windows. So what is that? So you know that we picked up the Master of Magic IP, I think it's about 2 years ago now, or such. We have also launched a DLC for Master of Magic called Caster of Magic, which was developed by a group of fans, led by a guy called Seravi. He has been developing a mod for the game. It's like a vast improvement over the game on the product. It's a big thing, right? So it's a really exceptional work of passion by this group of guys, led by Seravi, and we are launching a new one called Caster of Magic for Windows, which is basically an added improvement, but also there's a number of added content to the product. So Caster of Magic for Windows, of course, runs on Windows natively. It will allow for high resolutions on the game, to run the game on high resolutions. It will also include a vast number of improvements on the base game. So check it out on the site, on the news. There's all sorts of features on the product page, so you can check that out. We started beta testing it, and we'll be releasing it soon. you can do all sorts of things. There's like up to 13 ending wizards now, so there's a lot of improvements on the base game, and this is of course whilst we wait on announcements on what's happening next. We have also launched, and we have a news. I think that's the first news you see on the product on the homepage of the site. We finally launched the tournament beta testing for Panzer Corps 2. This means that we're getting very close to releasing the tournament system for Panzer Corps 2. This is happening if you're a beta tester, if you're not subscribed to the beta for 1941, the next DLC, and you'll be able to join the test tournament and help us improve the system and make sure that we release it with the DLC on the 18th of March. And I'm glad to see there's developers joining the chat there. Hello, Alvaro. And some of our fellow streaming fans as well. So thank you for following us. Not you, Edmund. You're part of the team, so you're neither a developer nor a fan now. On top of that, what do I want to say? All right, yeah, you'll see that I've got a little surprise for you. Before we get to, first of all, let's get to the tournaments. If you go to the tournament page, we have a tournament running for Field of Glory 2 Medieval. This is the biggest tournament we've ever had on Field of Glory. This is also including the Ancients game. We just got so close to 300 subscribers, and we also had a tournament going for World War I Strategic Command. This is going to be interesting because it's a very long tournament. You know, rounds are 42 days, so it's going to be a very long one, and we'll keep you updated on what's happening there because, you know, having such long tournaments means that we can give you updates on what's happening, and hopefully some of the guys will do ARs on what's happening and so on. So you'll see unfold in a completely different way. The other thing I wanted to mention was the Slate store improvements we're putting together. So from now on, I don't see it myself, Bruno, but I guess there is there. You see little bars on top of the stream. I'm sorry? Okay. Yeah, here they are. So once we have like little objectives to reach. So once we get to the threshold of 8,500 followers, we'll add 5 new games to the Slate store. You know that some of the games we have on the Slate store, especially the more recent one, you can only get them with Slates if you are a subscriber. So what we're doing here is that when we get to the next threshold of subscribers, we will add 2 new games. These 2 new games you will be able to buy with Slits are ICBM and Stirring Abyss. So this is a little, update on where we are, and we keep you informed of, how many we have and, how many of you are following and subscribing. It's a really cool way, I think, to, keep you guys, on board and make sure that more people follow the channel and are getting updates on what we do. And the last bit of news is, of course, the most important one. We have just launched the pre-orders for War in the East 2. We've launched the pre-orders on Tuesday with lots of back and forth about discounts and things, but now everything's running smoothly. So you can pre-order your copy of War in the East 2. How that works? Right, so we have both the digital version and the manual version, so the boxed version, up for pre-orders. You can pre-order the game now. You cannot upgrade to box right now. You can only buy either the digital or the physical edition. We have a number of manuals. I think it's 1,000 manuals on that are coming by sea in just the week after. It's going to be the week after release, but the week after release is Easter, so we're gonna start shipping these manuals just after that. This means that we have these first 1,000 manuals are going to be the sort of premium ones. So if the first 1,000 people pre-ordering will get the manuals shipped just after release. There's more coming, but these are coming in May. So make sure that if you really, really want the manual to get to you as soon as possible, pre-order the game. It's all got to do with COVID and shipments from China, and it's been a real big struggle. So we wanted to give you all the right information and have all our ducks in a row. That didn't actually happen entirely, but at least we got around to it. There is a page on the forum. Actually, Eric, if you can post the forum bit where we have all the explanations and the Q&As about the FAQs about the manual, that'd be great, so that everyone can see, terms and conditions and all that kind of stuff. This will help a lot. Also, just after this, so in it's actually 19 minutes, XTRG will play War in the East 2 for the first time live. We are going to show the game for the first time. We are super excited about it. You're going to see it. XTRG had about 2 hours to check it out. So, be forgiving with him, but he's going to try his best. It's hopefully this is going to be the first of many streams for War in East 2, and we're still on target to hit the 25th of March release, although the guys are really screaming for more time, but I hope that everything is going to happen within the dates we have promised you. And if it doesn't, it's really, the guys are working super hard to deliver this. So it's going to come soon, and hopefully on the 25th of March, everyone pre-ordering the game will have the game on to download. Thanks, Eric, for posting stuff. Now, as said, we have a guest. Our guest today is a member of our team. He's a very recent member of our team. And he's just back from an interesting trip. So let me welcome Jason Jones. Right, so let me see if everything works. Hey, Jason.
Ciao, Marco. Hey, so your audio is intermittent for me, and I apologize. So I may answer some things in the wrong direction, but we'll make the best. I've got some prepared pastries from my wife. I've got maybe the second cappuccino of the day, which may be trouble in the long run. So, but yes, it's a pleasure.
That's great. Jason, as your job title says, you're defense program manager for Matrix. Can you tell us a bit more about your past experiences and how you joined the company?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm recently retired from the U.S. Army. So I did about 28 years in the U.S. Army. The first 10 focused in logistics, but my last 18 focused in modeling and simulation. And particularly the focus was on using simulations for training. So that was very much the focus. We would do some war gaming, which we differentiate a little bit from training. But I've done everything from a higher level of detail in logistics simulation to the very fast-moving, very exciting air and missile defense simulation activities. And then just the general large-scale, all-domain constructive simulation, which is very much like a lot of the products that we make and how we use them. It's been it's an incredible opportunity to come and work for a game company that makes games that that I've had on my computer, I've had on my iPad after all those years ago, and now to see how does commercial gaming fit into the defense market?
Yeah, and you had the privilege of living in Italy for a little bit of time, so.
Certo. So yes, my last job before retiring was as the deputy director for the NATO Modeling and Simulation Center of Excellence, which is located in Roma. And so in that role, we were very much focused on research, education, and helping NATO nations and partner nations to use modeling and simulation, not simply for training, but also for analysis, study, and research. And it was just it was a great job opportunity and just a wonderful chance for us to live and work, certainly in Italy of all things, but also in Europe as well. So yeah, a great experience.
So Jason, you're just coming back from a trip from the DC area, we actually planned this like chat before, to meet with the fact that you were just coming back from that trip. So tell us a bit more about that trip.
So the great thing and the thing to consider for the defense industry is they have a lot of very expensive, large simulations built principally for the focus of training. What commercial products do, and what we were there to do and to share with both the Army, the Marine Corps, and in particular those two services, was just how they can take advantage of the commercial products. The beauty of a commercial product versus a defense-produced product is this product was designed for one to a smaller number of people, some number of people to learn, use, and to work with in their home, whereas some of these larger defense products are just massive, require a lot of additional assistance and contract support, and so this gives the ability, and the Army has used some commercial products to work on wargaming and teaching people like I was as a simulation person, how to leverage not just the big products, but also some of the smaller capabilities that can let you maybe find an answer faster than trying to do something big. So between our discussions with the Army, very interested in finding ways that they can incorporate commercial games into their work. The Marine Corps, that was our principal focus in this meeting, was to demonstrate new updates in our professional line for command modern operations. And so you can see an image of Ian McNeil. For Matrix, he's the director of development. For Slitherine, he's the CEO. But demonstrating the products on the back end and unseen is Demetrius, who is back there running the demo. That if you know Kushan, Brandon Johnson, he's set up the scenario to run. And this was a great opportunity to brief the great things that the team has done that really help to fit the needs of the Marine Corps. The Army is going to find some value. Command right now just doesn't have the ground game to support that, but the Marines are asking us to build some of that in. Additional Marine visits were Marine Corps University, where we had just completed the weekend before a war game for their command and staff college, where the students work on planning, preparing for operations, and we use, command and some specially trained pucksters specially trained for the Marine Corps, normal operators of command inside of, our community. With high skills to run those plans and to give them the next day the outcome of where things stand. Really a great effort with the Marine Corps University guys from our team of pucksters, but also just the Matrix team in general. Our last meeting last week was with NATO. Their Allied Command Transformation element is in Norfolk, Virginia, and we went to share with them some ideas about using command for the first pass. So if we're going to talk about a particular operational area, in command, you can very quickly set a scenario, give missions, give orders, put aircraft together. You've got the international, air and sea databases right there. We can quickly run a pass, see where maybe the choke points and the bottlenecks and some of the other interesting things that need further discovery. And if NATO, or in the U.S. case, the Department of Defense, then wants to look a little deeper, now they can take this first pass of data put it into one of their more, more rigorous systems. Although I will say command is highly rigorous for the execution of things it does, but to put it into one of their more rigorous systems just in those few areas. Because, in my time in the military, we have a 2-year planning cycle for a lot of exercises. So it takes a long time to get the database right, to get all parties to agree, to actually set up the fight and then execute it. But the beauty of command is we can set that up pretty quickly, do a couple hundred runs in a Monte Carlo style simulation, and then see where we go. So a lot of that was about command and focused on command. But, as we see shots of combat mission, flashpoint campaigns, big interest areas for the Army as well. So we have a lot of tools that really can engage and help that military audience, either as they're learning or exploring new possibilities.
I think, one of the things you were mentioning, and I think it relates a lot to a lot of the people who are in the audience now, is, we have a lot of historical games that are very complex, like, WitE2 is a very good example. How much do you think these types of turn-based, very deep strategy games are actually useful at a training level? And just to put this into perspective, some of our players are ex-military, but most of our players are, either interested in history or interested in the, military history in general. And so it's interesting to see, how much of what they play is actually, I wouldn't say real, but realistic enough that it's useful for training.
Yeah, absolutely. And throughout the training spectrum, there's various levels that we're trying to put people, ready to execute the task. So when I think about, let me make this comment about the historical games. The historical games are great and bring a level of detail, that's difficult to match. Now, for day-to-day, for training the current force, the detail may be less relevant to training, but the principles behind, our line of communication that says that it's going to take this long for that unit to execute an order. We can say that we're much improved in the communication space nowadays than we were, 17th century and even up into the early, 20th century. So those rules could still apply in a communication denied environment. But it's the principles that really matter. You can say that turn-based isn't realistic, but it's complicated enough managing all the operations and even just a brigade of 5,000 soldiers with all the different aspects, whether it's aviation, fires, just straight maneuver elements. When you're teaching somebody how to do that, it's helpful to let them go through deliberate steps in time. There's a point where real-time management matters, but for most military training, it's about the thinking. It's about the cognitive skills to manage the force, to consider, what are the decision points? What are my information requirements? Where do I need to scout and to identify? And that holds true at any period in history. And so a lot of those principles are solid. And sometimes the relatively simpler times in the historical era really bring those out. We can clean up a lot of mistakes and errors by having very rapid ability to give orders and to change mission. But in a Kriegspiel era, or in an era where that message takes a very deliberate, discrete amount of time to arrive, that matters because it means you need to think ahead. And that skill is always valuable, whatever the era is.
That's interesting. And, I think one of the cool things we see as we approach more defense, and I think you've seen this, or you've seen this as well, is that when professionals see the level of detail and simulation we are able to achieve, they're pretty ecstatic about it. So it's almost like sometimes a consumer product can do better things that I used to.
Yes. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And it just and it's a little bit, there's some unique aspects. Different people have different focus areas and different things that they're looking for that represent value and depth to them. Um, but for the products that we make, the depth is there in the right areas, and each game has a little bit of a different piece, like Combat Mission. The ability to go, real time versus turn based. There's a value point in all of those, and that depth of orders and the things I can do in there. And I see that really are, and I've mentioned Combat Mission, Flashpoint campaigns, and Command, because those are really our pro line materials right now. But there are components of each of those that have a value, to the training audience, and not everybody's ready for all those aspects. And that's so. Again, as a former Army, a former soldier, when I talk to the Army, we talk about where these fit in quite nicely, and where they can leverage some of those tools to train different aspects. And so that's a piece that I'm talking to them about. Maybe you can do a process we call verification and validation, which is what are the things, based on my list of skills I want to impart on my training audience. Have we built it in a way that it matches our design and can meet those needs? And then at the end state, we talk about accrediting it. And so, can we accredit this game, this simulation, to meet a need for training purposes?
That's just the beginning, I would say.
Yes.
Jason, thank you very much for joining us. What I'd like to do is, we'll regularly invite you at the show so that you can update us on how things are going, and if there's new stuff to highlight, because things are happening so fast.
Yes.
For the professional industry, at least, not for gaming standards, but. It'd be good to have you back, when there's more stuff to talk about.
Absolutely, I'd be glad to.
Thanks a lot, and see you next time.
All right, ciao, Marco. Take care.
So, guys, just if you've got any question to ask, and we just got over the subscribers list. So guys, you made it. So we'll as promised, we'll add ICBM and Stirring Abyss to the Slit store for subscribers, and you're able to get them from tomorrow. That was quick. Thank you guys, and thanks to everyone who subscribed today. I've seen a lot of questions about Steel Tigers, and we won't put a product page up until we have a fully fledged features list, because we can't put a vanilla page up and just post stuff as we go. The guys are going to pick up on Steel Tigers development as soon as WitE2 is released, and everything that has to be fixed is fixed, because the post-release work is going to be massive. So we're not 12 months away from release of Steel Tigers. It's a long time, and we need to make sure that when we release Steel Tigers, I've seen a comment before, don't screw it up, just make it exactly as Steel Tigers was. Right, so there are a huge number of challenges in creating a heritage game like Steel Tigers, a new version of Steel Tigers, of Steel Panthers. So we can't screw it up, you're right. And we'll be posting stuff, information when we'll have it available, and when we are 100% sure that we can release a game with these characteristics. So how about setting up a way we can help fund FOG2 development? FOG2 development? more diverse models and so on. Mordante, thank you for the question, and welcome back, Mordante. You ask questions every week, so thanks for that. Well, I don't think we we need the extra funding on FOC2. I think that if you have suggestions on what to add and what to improve and how to improve it, just ping us a note on the forums, or and we'll see. I mean, RBS is pretty open to suggestions, and we tend to take the community input on games like Field of Glory pretty seriously. So if there is anything, I mean, the modders are also working pretty hard on doing their own things. So yeah, there's always options to to add more, and I don't think that funding is an issue. I mean, if we decide not to do specific things, then it's because we don't see a commercial value on it, or we don't see it working. So that's the reason. Will there be an Empire game for Medieval? This is a recurring question. I'm happy to answer. We have that idea in mind, and we definitely want to achieve that. We're working on the different options, because it's not as as simple as just do that version of that version. It's it's much more complex, because it has to cover a big spread of time, and there needs to be the right bits in place for from the Medieval core game to import in again. There's a lot of complications, but yes, we're considering it. Not yet defined. Did I miss the WitE2 preview? No, you didn't, Arthur. I'm just about to give the line to XTRG, who is going to entertain you for the next few hours with the first ever playable stream of WitE2. And Eric Routines is in the chat for more questions. He can't be in the chat forever, so asking the questions, and he'll try and answer them all. So thank you very much for following us. We are super pleased to see that the number of people following these weekly meetings is increasing. Pre-order WitE East if you want the book to arrive when we launch. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Oh, wait. I've got a list of upcoming streams. So as I said, WitE2 with XTRG, it's going to be about a couple of hours. Then after that, we have Edmund playing Panzercorps 2 1941. Remember, this is the next DLC releasing on the 18th of March. Tomorrow we have Das Taktik, hey Das, playing Shadow Empire at 6 p.m. And at 8 p.m. we have Richard York playing Combat Mission Black Sea. Hey Richard. And should I mention, I mean, it's Kushan playing Command like every Saturday at 6 p.m. Done for today. I will see you next week on Thursday at 4 o'clock UK time. Make sure you tune in, there's more. We are going to show you Warplan Pacific next week, if nothing goes wrong. I'll see you next week. Bye.